Hi, everybody. I'm Bill Sanders, and this is WatchArtSci, the art and science of watch collection. Today, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be talking about a watch that most people have heard of, but it's not super popular, even though it's a very, very good watch. And this might be one of those diamonds in the coal mine where we can find something that is a much better watch than what we'd end up paying for it. The Girard-Perregaux is has been around for a while, and we'll talk about that in a bit. But first, what I want to do, I want to talk about Reverend John E. Sauer's Girard-Perregaux Seahawk as the watch of the week. This watch is just, I saw this on one of the forums, and I thought, wow, what a cool looking watch. And I didn't even recognize it as a Girard-Perregaux. I just thought, wow, what a neat watch. I thought, it could have been a Petet or any number of things like that. So I got a hold of reference John Sauer's, and he's a wonderful guy. And I asked him if I could have his watch as the watch of the week. And it has the small seconds right beneath the center dial, right down at 6 o'clock, and it has like almost a silky linen dial face. It's really a very interesting watch. And what John told me was that when he got it, he was in college and he saw it at a store in Hamden, Connecticut, and that's pretty neat. And so he goes back to his home and he goes to his local watchmaker and tells him about it. And the watchmaker says, "Well, I hope you bought it." And he said, "No, I didn't." So he ran back and got it. And it was $250 for this really a very, very nice watch. Okay, it's a nice looking vintage watch, and it would still look good today. And it does. You can see it on John's wrist. Okay, thank you, John. And let's go take a look at some more. What I want to do now is to take a look and sort of look at Girard-Perregaux and see where it is in the context of other watches. And we're going to start, what I'd like to start with is the 2013 Grand Prix winner. And that's a big deal because it shows a true high horology in that watch. I mean, it's not only high horology, but very high horology. So we're not dealing with some watch company that isn't pushing the envelope further out on mechanical watches. And the watch beats at a constant force no matter how much power remains in the barrels. We've talked about this on other kinds of things. In other words, when it starts unwinding, you start getting all these variables, and so you lose your time. But as it starts fading, just as my text does there, it keeps a constant force. Okay, so that was back in 2013, and this year, or actually it was last year, 2016, they not only won one Grand Prix, they won two. And that doesn't happen too often in the same year. It has happened, but not that often. And the ones they won it for was this gorgeous cat's eye tourbillon with a gold bridge. You can see that on the watch, and it was called the Ladies High Mech watch. Now, a lot of times a lot of collectors look at ladies' watches and say, "Yeah, they're quartz or something like that." Not the high mech category. The high mech category has to be a mechanical watch, and they knocked the ball out of the park on this one. Notice too, I don't know if you can see it or not, but it's right below where it says Girard-Perregaux. They put 1791. They're very proud of their heritage. Okay. Also last year, they won again in 2016, they won the award for the Tourbillon Prize. I'm not a big Tourbillon fan, but what the heck. It really takes some major watchmaking skills to pull off a tourbillon. It takes even more to win this prize. So this was another step in high horology that Girard-Perregaux had. In their history, all in all, they've won a total of 5, which isn't bad, but it's right up there. Okay, now uh, what I did, I said, okay, well, let's take a look and see where this is. So I wanted to compare the sort of in a group way where Girard-Perregaux was vis-a-vis some other brands. Not all brands, not the most popular, not the least popular, just some other brands that we could take a look at. So what I did is that I took the condition 0 for the 10 least expensive condition 0 of this group of watches from Joma Shop. The reason I used Joma Shop is that it was the same source. Okay, I wanted to use a single source and compare it with what the lowest 10 were on Chrono 24 in the 2000s. Okay, I didn't want to go all the way back to wherever, so that because a lot of times it's hard to compare some of the vintage watches. So I just took from 2000 to 2016 and took the 10 least expensive, compared them with the 10 least expensive of the same brand from Joma Shop, condition 0. Okay, and what I found was I sort of thought that Girard-Perregaux was going to have a much lower value, and they did. Uh, Over this period of time, or in terms of just this grouping, the average price of a brand new Girard-Perregaux went from 5580 to 1,587. That's almost a $4,000 difference, and that's a 352% change downward. Now, we talked about this before, or at least I have, that people say, "Oh, well, I lost this or I lost that," and so my watch is really good because it has a great resale value. I don't know what kind of research or data gathering that was going on with that, but the stuff that came out of this was a little different. So let's take a look at some of these. First of all, the one, and again, now we're talking about over a period of possibly all the way from 2000 to 2016, okay? Not like from year to year, or not even on the same model of watch. So it's just like it's looking at cohorts, okay? Girard-Perregaux had 352% loss. Jaeger-LeCoultre had only 160%. Okay, now that's not in 1 year, that's over several years. This is based on the average. Parmigiani had a 258%. They went down. That's another good deal. The average Parmigiani is on condition 0 is $13,500, whereas it was only 5,000, a little over 5,000 in the pre-owned. This is taking 10 lowest ones on the pre-owned, average them out. The Glashütte original, that took a relatively small hit too, down 174%. Average condition 0 was 66.96. Average pre-owned was 38.39. Okay, and again, you can see the statistics there. The Audemars Piguet was one that it was almost it was over 259% hit. The average condition 0 for Audemars Piguet was 11,238. The average price from 2000 on was 68.91. Okay, the Vacheron Constantin, they didn't have as anywhere near the amount of dip that I thought they were going to. But they maintained fairly well. They were under 200, not much, but some. The average condition zero was 11 and a half. The average pre-owned was about 5,800. Okay, and finally, Patek Philippe, which I thought was going to have the lowest, and everyone says, well, they do. And they do, I guess, maybe from year to year, model to model, something like that. But when you take them, when you look at things as a larger cohort, you find out things that you don't see otherwise. And they take a 224% down. So, I mean, and it goes from like your average of 18,000 down to 8,000, okay, and over a period of time of just taking the lowest, 10 lowest from all in 2000 and whatever I don't think they go under 2000 when they show up in condition zero on Joma Shop. Okay, so this is something I think that we have to keep in mind. The fact that Girard-Perregaux has such a huge drop means that you can pick them up on the used market as collectors. Now remember, this is not sort of a flipper's guide, okay? It's certainly not the your AD's guide, but rather for collectors. So you have this watch. They've won a heck of a lot of awards. They in your high horology, but they're overlooked. They don't get no respect, as they say. A number of other watch companies too, in the considered high horology, have used their movements. My Vacheron Constantin has a Girard-Perregaux movement. It's modified, yeah, but it's the base of the movement. See, Harry Winston does. That's another story. Panerai GMT has you go out and you buy a brand new Panerai GMT, and it's ticking on a Girard-Perregaux. Okay, so here is a brand with both a movement that's used by other high horology brands, and at the same time, it's a really good buy. So let's take a look at some and the different kinds of models they have. Probably their sort of top model, I guess it's like it reminds me a little of an Audemars Piguet Royal Oak. It's called a Laredo, and this is pretty much more the top of the line of the watches that they have. I mean, before you get into the Constant Force, some of those are like $100,000 watches. Okay, so the Laredo is the first one. Now, one that I really, really like is called the Richville. And I don't think they still make them, but they have some fantastic buys for them. And again, this is from 2000 up. These are not your old vintage ones. For 1883, and in this particular white face, and the black dial has 1711. For a watch like this, you could get into a fairly high level watch for a heck of a lot less than you can a lot of other ones, and a lot of ones that I bought. Okay, so like I said, I like the Richville. Another one is very popular, probably their most popular model is their 1966. The ones here are the moon phase models, one in stainless steel and the other one in pink gold. Nice clean watch. One has the day date on it in addition to the moon phase. But the 1966 is a very Bauhaus, Nomos-like, actually also a Calatrava-like kind of watch. Patrimony, Vacheron patrimonies like this kind of thing. Again, we saw how what a good deal these things are when you take a look at them on someplace like Chrono 24. Now here are a couple of examples. And now this will give you an idea of what they cost brand new. Now these are pretty much plain vanilla 1966, and they just the heck of a lot like the Calatrava or the Patrimony. So the stainless steel is 5220. Now this is in condition 0, okay? And the pink gold is 11270, also in condition 0. To me, in this particular case, I think either one of them would be excellent, excellent everyday kind of watches. Pink gold is probably something that you'd want more for really far more formal. But boy, at stainless steel, I think you get away with formal or a work watch, something to take to the office every day. The next watch, now look at these watches and compare them with John's we had for the Reverend John that we had for the Watch of the Week. Boy, they changed those. They've got that sports watch look to them now. There's a new one up in the upper left up there is 5197, and right next to it is one again used 1703. It's a good buy. The one right below the one on the top there, or the one on the left, the bottom left is 3065. You know, again, if you're into sports watches and you're somewhere between, you know, and your budget isn't up to buying something like a real expensive Rolex or Omega or something like that, these are like excellent watches at much better prices, and they've won 5 Grand Prix awards, including the top Grand Prize. Audemars Piguet has won probably more Grand Prix than anyone else, but they never won the Aiguille d'Or. They never won the Grand Prize. These guys have. So, and I wouldn't be surprised if they win it again. Okay, so the Seahawk, that's another model they have. That's more their sports model, or diver's model, I guess. This next one is another model that I really like, called the Traveler. It's got the, it has the inner numbers are the GMT numbers, or the other time numbers, in a dual time, and the outer ones are the other time. And this is a, again, these things are very well priced. You price Vacheron Constantin World Time or Patek Philippe, you're talking, you know, something in the 20,000s. Even used are going to be pretty expensive. These guys, pre-owned, $26.89 and $27.90. Top-notch watch for a heck of a lot less money. Okay, finally, these watches, this is another favorite of mine, and this is one, if I end up getting a Girard-Perregaux, it'll be one of these, I think, because I really, really like the looks of these. This series is called the Vintage 1945. Some of the newer ones they use more of a little more modern, slightly italicized numbering on it. The two on the bottom do, but the one on the top is pure Art Deco, and I really like it a lot. So actually, this is a case where the Vintage 1945, and again, it says 1945. This is not a vintage watch. That's the name of the watch, is Vintage 1945. This, all of these watches are from 2000 up. So this was, what I wanted to do is to pretty much say, hey, let's look at something other than, you know, the usual suspect. Let's take a look at another watch company that's doing some really very interesting things, and, you know, hey, you know, consider them and save a heck of a lot of money doing so. Okay, well, I've sort of gone on about Girard-Perregaux. I don't have stock in the company. In fact, I don't even own one. I just own the parts in my Vacheron Constantin overseas. Let's hear what you have to say about this. I'd be very interested in your comments. And because I think it's a very interesting kind of possibility, but for some reason, all of us, myself included, overlook Girard-Perregaux. Okay, comments, please. Your invitation to subscribe if you'd like. And until Sunday, when we have our next review of a collection, this has been Bill Sanders with WatchArtSci, the art and science of watch collection.